as you mentioned, not necessarily the safest map for Mousesports. They've already played it at this tournament, ended up in a loss versus SK, and also an overtime loss versus Virtus Pro. And it's the latter one there that kind of has me shook a little bit.
Yeah, VP that went to 3 maps and multiple overtimes against MVP, the biggest underdog in this entire event, and for Mousesports to lose a map to them is quite worrying. But again, you know, they've had signs of life on the other maps. You know, obviously we saw them take the first, nearly take the second. They've obviously beat SK in a best of 3 as well, aside from on Cobblestone. Yep. So, you know, individually they're good enough, but when it comes down to their preparation on this map, I feel like they really are going to have a tough time.
Yeah, it's going to be rough, and I think G2 is just a difficult team to play versus on Cobble as well. Not any side is necessarily easy to take. If you go towards A, you have to run into Apex and Kenny. Apex has been playing lights out this entire tournament. I don't see any reason why that should stop at this point. And obviously, Shoxy over towards that B-bomb side is never easy to deal with, and he's going to have backup from NBK and Body too. And Body, especially obviously having a much better second game than what he had on Mirage, it's going to leave him with a bit of confidence going into the final map.
So what's your prediction with this one? Obviously, we don't have sides yet, so that makes a big difference. But how far do you think this is going to go? Do you think it's going to be a confident game for G2, or will this be close?
I think they have all the reason in the world to feel confident about, first off, being able to mount that comeback with how many mistakes they made on Inferno. They know that they should know if they just kind of normalize and normalize their play, they should be better than the Mousesports on this map. So I'm still leaning towards G2. That was my prediction at the start of the match as well. I don't see really any reason to stray away from it, but obviously with how well Mousesports have done on Inferno as well, and just how solid they looked on Mirage, I wouldn't put it past them to actually give G2 a fight, but I'm still expecting G2 to close it out.
One knife round ahead of us first, so we can see who starts where. Obviously G2 loving the T-side on every map, even the maps that aren't favoured, but Cobble certainly is, so going to be pivotal that they pick up that knife round if they want to pick their starting side. But Mousesports, obviously the underdogs for this final map.
Mousesports have won the knife on both maps so far, right?
Boost. Huh? Yeah, they have. They got CT on Mirage and on the Inferno.
Yeah, this time though, not going to have that luxury, so G2 getting that choice as to where they want to start things off. Again, we've seen a bit of change up. You saw SK starting on the CT side, even though we expected them to start T. I think G2 should probably be comfortable doing do it any which way, really. They've also, you know, in likeness to Mousesports, played Cobble at this event. They play versus Renegades in their opener. Had a pretty solid CT half, getting 10 rounds there. But I would say that speaking, you know, comparing Renegades to Mousesports is a bit unfair to Mousesports in that sense. I think they're, you know, a step above, even though Cobble might not be their comfort pick. So we'll see what it amounts to. Inferno, that was our previous map. Cobble as the one at hand, and all G2, they're going to start on that CT side.
Interesting to see teams consistently do that now, both SK and G2, and look at this play on the pistol. Straight into middle, aggression here. Oscar holds passive, but he won't hit the shot. That was a free kill for him, but Body's going to react in time. Stico's still holding that rotate. NBK surely going to check this corner, but not if he's baited by the players at the back of the hallway. Rops, again, P250 on pistol. He ran this versus SK every map. And he always seemed to get an opening kill. This time is no different. And Sunny has now crept into B with G2 getting aggressive on the other side of the map. So a lot of map control his way. With him in the drop down, G2 may expect this position, but now they're going to start to burst out. Rops again just decapitates another player, traded by Shox towards the rock, and Stico with the bomb on the site. This plant can come in. He's taking the fight though. Apex going to get caught by that aggression from Sunny into the drop down, and that's well played of him to hold that position, not chase too heavily, not overextend, and he will be able to finish off with a couple of kills.
Rops there being instrumental for Mousesports to able to stabilize once they lose that opening pick onto Oscar. Actually, a little bit surprised to see that G2 didn't opt for a more aggressive stance on B with that solo player. I feel like there's no real point of having him towards B if you're going to set up for a retake anyway, because he's not going to hold him back. So you might as well have him play from, for instance, Plateau and see if he can find early information in that case. Also would have allowed for some of the G2 players to kind of hang around instead of trying to push behind immediately on A, while there were, you know, at least 2 G2 members could have backed off and helped with the support there.
Oscar going for the JW.
Yeah, well, sawed off. So likely destination is drop room.
Oh, wow!
It's a meaty nade. Quite a few meaty nades actually. Rops still going to survive though. Oh, Sunny's there to back him up as well. 6 HP on Rops, but still going to be perfectly fine. Oscar finally puts that sawed off to use as well, and Shoxy with the scout over towards that A-bomb side, all by his lonesome. He's going to try to hold on to that into the next round as well.
Yeah, I feel like the first time we saw more use of nades from that position was when North at EPL Finals last year. They threw like 2 or 3 people on top of the tree, and then they threw nades into the entrance of B, well, B long, and that's when I first saw it myself. I think that was the first time it was used. And yeah, well, G2 go for a similar setup, more focus just throwing from the site, and yeah, it does damage, but Rops just living with 6 points of health. Got to be careful though, because the scout's here. Shox is in the spawn, or at least near it. Rops should be able to get away with his gun though, and Mousesports are 2-0. Flawless as well is pretty good start to this map. Again, T side as well.
Yeah. I think this is the kind of start they need as well. Start building up that economy. Obviously get the easy rounds out of the way. We did manage to fluff it a bit up on Inferno. Obviously winning both pistols there, but in the second half getting reset immediately after. And again, if you look back to it, that could have also again been, you know, the final dagger into the back of G2. But kept breathing. We're given more and more opportunities to get back into it. And once they got rolling with steam, it couldn't be stopped. So Scout still in hand on Shoxy. That's pretty much going to be the only investment. MBK picking up a Zeus. I'm assuming he's going to hang out and drop room. Maybe try to jump someone. Yep, there we go. Setting up for the boost. Doesn't really seem like Mousesports are too bothered with that though. Quick tempo towards that B plateau already out.
Oh,
MBK does find Oscar though.
That should be it though. You'd like to hope.
Yeah, no, again, Oscar just dropping a sawed off as well, so there's not really anything MBK can do in terms of running out onto the site, trying to take long-range battles. Sawed off definitely not the weapon for that. What they can do is try to see if Shoxy can find some tags. They're boosting up above the smoke here. And if he does land, maybe one shot onto Crochet, he might go down. If not, just soften up a couple of others, and then he can sacrifice body maybe.
Ooh. Oh, he looked for the headshot. That's why it took so long, but not going to hit it. Sunny stays alive, and MBK just holding for these exits still in the drop down. Rops is at the top side, but cleverly so not going to push. MBK might catch Chris J, but too fast. MP7, this guy loves the MP7. He was even running it in
buy rounds.
One of the last T rounds, yeah, when they had money to go for the AK in Inferno.
Body just trying to hold on to absolutely nothing, really. I guess.
Don't give away money.
Yeah, don't give away money, even if it's 300 or 600. Regardless, just want to give as little of an edge to Mousesports as humanly possible. But Mousesports already done their part, really. As you can see, plenty of cash on there, and Oscar going to go immediately to that op. The rest of his teammates sitting at from 5.5 to about 7K.
No head armor as well. Chris J on the MP7 going to be a bit more lethal than expected, I guess, into this buy if you can hit those headshots.
That's definitely a valid point to make.
Ooh. Are they going to do this again? Oscar
God,
running out of
please
plateau with a AWP. Last time he dropped off Broken Wall against SK, and that did not work, but this time he holds his position, luckily enough. If he went aggressive here, he could have been easily taken down, because G2 have heavy control, at least towards, you know, kind of passive angles on the site. They have the drop down obviously with 2 players, but Shox is holding the angle on the cross. Rops on the cross and he's dead. Chris J hits the shot at long range with an MP7. No head armor for G2 and they're going to regret that decision. Chris J follows up, 2nd kill. Not even going to take the gun off the body of Shox. He's just going to continue to push.
I'm very curious about what the thought process of G2 is there in that scenario. They don't have a lot of utility, so they can either spend it immediately, get into forward positions, or they can hold on to it for a retake. But the problem is they have smokes for the retake and flashes. They don't have any Molotovs. So a retake is going to be extremely hard regardless. And if you obviously just let the entirety of Mousesports more or less walk onto the site, doing equal numbered retakes on that B box, that is a really tough task. So not really sure what the means behind that was. Gonna get punished with it as well. Obviously very fortunate for Chris J that everyone on the G2 side have nothing really to hold on to, and that's gonna net him 3 kills.
Perfect.
And
Making a
free
lot
Colts.
of money.
So free rifles, a lot of cash. He's gonna be a happy camper. G2 on there, and though not as much. And Kenny going with the op purchase.
Why even upgrade it if you're Chris? They don't have money here.
Well, I guess, you know, if a free Colt is in in front of you.
Yeah,
You pick
of
it up,
course.
right?
Well, you say that. He ran into drop down without getting the guns there, but either way, yeah.
Well, at that point,
safer
he-
decision.
He
Definitely
was a man on a
decision.
on a mission, right?
Yeah. Mousesports so fast into B again. They may not be expecting such investment from G2 with a shotgun and an AWP, even with armor pistol. So, got to be very careful here. Flashes are good, but Shox isn't blind. However, he is dead. Chris J with the M4, one frag. Sunny follows up, and G2 forced out the site by the smokes of Mousesports. This is a perfect execute. G2, it may have forced up with this buy, but it doesn't seem to be getting too much done. MBK grabs a second kill of the round for G2, but at that point, this round is looking to be over.
Yeah, Apex bailing out because Apex has no intent of being any part of this. He's already in CT spawn with his Mag 7. Unfortunate though, considering Chris J was down to 10 HP. But they're going to set up for exit frags here and hope for the best.
And again, Chris J, you know, since you were saying since he became this cooler role for this team, he's been putting himself in a lot of entry frag positions. And yeah, you know, sometimes that does show why he's at the bottom of the board, because you know if he's getting taken down on every entry and traded by a second player in, you know he may not be getting all those kills. But this map is showing how well he's doing. He's at 7-1 right now, 5 rounds into the game, opening up a lot of these bomb sites.
Yeah, definitely doing his part. Will go down to the bomb. Minor, a little bit of a minus in his notebook,
but still max money, so it doesn't even really matter.
He's just flush with cash. He's gonna have to spend a little bit of it though. But Mousesports off to a great start. And what we saw, you know, similar trend here, obviously not necessarily going up against buys all this time, but versus SK as well. Once Mousesports decided to keep the tempo high in all of these rounds, they were finding success. It was when they slowed down and started moving towards this A bomb site that they ran into issues. Fur and Fallen just combining to make it really rough. And well, Apex and Kenny, not that much easier. And instead it's going to be MBK to join in with Kenny early on. Probably because of that Mag 7 on Apex. Result is the same. So yeah, Mousesports, let's see if they actually go back to just speedy B pushes, because that's what netted them rounds versus SK. And so far this A attempt has not been very successful. Bomb drop down in mid as well.
Shox has actually wrapped drop down from pushing B long, and he's now behind Robs. I'm not sure if Robs realizes that factor, but he's going to go down. Yeah, Shox completely flanked him. That's pretty clever.
With his food. Oh, Kenny moving slightly forward here, seeing if he can find Sunny. Doesn't want to give up the AWP, obviously. Sunny, though, tucked inside of danger, just waiting for someone from G2 to start hunting after him. It's going to be really tough for him to hold on to this weapon with 45 seconds left. But economy of G2 obviously not in a pristine place. Kenny really the only one with a bank. He is sitting at 5K though. That is a substantial amount. MBK, he's going to take the challenge here. And the jig is up. Sunny's position is given. Body comes in from behind. So perfect round for G2 Esports. Mousesports though, the big question for me here, the entire T side, is how long or how many times they're actually going to try to change up what they're doing really. Because, you know, the old mantra of, you know, never change a winning team, or, you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
That rings very true. If G2 have no response to Mousesports' quick entries towards the B bomb site, there's no reason for them to stop doing it. This is one of the reasons why, you know, the old Immortals lineup was so successful on this map. They would constantly just rush B because people had immense trouble of stopping it.
Well, this time G2 have money, so they have that utility to put down. This is something that they were lacking in the first few rounds. Mousesports having good control over the money. G2 at least can contest this, so Mousesport won't even try and go for the quick play. Instead, they set up early outside of B. So definitely looking at this site, but not an early commitment or rush. Expecting G2 to have pretty significant weaponry and utility, and that is the case. Lots of Molotovs still held on to by G2, and smokes in fact. So this utility will go a long way into the round unless Mousesports throw some kind of fake and try and force them out. But with only 3 smokes to play with and only a couple of flashes, that's a risky move. Some of those smokes going out, one towards the drop. Sunny's going to try and get control. He gives away the info. They know he's in there. He's got a teammate now. Oscar's going to join him, playing anti-flash just in case MBK gets a bit aggressive.
They're just going to wait out this smoke. Flash coming in, so they know somebody's outside a window. And this might prompt another rotation from the G2 squad. We see Kenny moving in towards connector with that off. Bodies shifted over towards the site.
Oh no, Rops' flash, his teammate got... Was that Shox? His teammate flashed him? He comes in from the back lines anyway, swaps positions with the enemy and gets 2 kills. That's more than he would have bargained for in that position. Kenny S now on the site. There's one from Oscar leaving the drop down, and he sees Sunny as well, but Apex is ready and waiting. G2, 2 rounds on the board. Messi from Mousesports not working out at all. Now we've got enough money, but spread thinly. They've got to work out how they want to throw this over and invest, but they've plenty of money to actually go for the real buy. So there will be 4 rifles. I mean, even potential for the AWP if they want to pull it in this early.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if we saw Chris J dropping an AK toward, and up towards Oscar. Stico still has money to drop an AK to both Rops and him, so that shouldn't be an issue. Well, it's going to be Sunny to buy up the op actually. So it might go for double up, actually. Oh, okay. Chris decides to go with an AK. So, let's see what's in store. Mousesports, though. It still feels like tempo is going to be the key for Mousesports to find success here on this this T side.
Yeah, definitely.
In both instances where they have slowed down or been slowed down, haven't found too much success. But away we go. Timeout is over. Teams have talked things through. And they're going to opt to go towards more of a default setup here. Really spread out and just awaiting it. So it's going to be a slow pace. And see how this pans out for them. Only Rob's really making any sort of noise towards B.
And G2 expecting the B play again, because you can see Apex goes to B, throws his early smoke on the plateau, and then runs back towards the A site. A, not a position where you need as much utility to hold. You can kind of take those range battles down middle, or just, you know, wait for your rotations, because there's so many positions to continually fall back from. The B site doesn't have the pleasure of having. Rob's already finding an opening towards the drop down, and now, if he can take control, he can split towards the A bomb site. But look at the close positioning from G2 on that side of the map. We've got both Kenny pushed up with the AWP and Apex with the AK as well on long. Mousesports about to come around this corner. They need to trade this kill because Kenny's surely going to hit the first shot. He always does. Ready on the corner. Sunny. Bait peek is perfect, but will they expect Apex? That's a big no. That's a big frag as well. 2 from Apex. Looking for a third, but it's Chris J to trade. Still Kenny on the other side. And so Mousesports will fall back. They won't continue with that push. They still have the time to play with, but not the utility. In the meantime, Robs hasn't taken drop, but Shox is pushed all the way up, and the question is, will they expect this? He's holding the off angle because he hears the footsteps, and Chris J not going to look around the corner. There's one trade from Stico. Maybe should have played the trick of discipline, because now Mousesports are in a 2-on-2. Rops has taken drop. Body's aware of the possibility due to the frag earlier on in the round, and Rops is waiting for the time to strike. That Molotov is going to force Body to move, and Rops hears the steps. One more for him. Kenny S, last man up with the AWP. Rops looking for the 3K, and there it is.
Nice double peek from Mousesports there. Not leaving anything up to chance, but yeah, I think Shoxy definitely had an opportunity there to hold off. Obviously, it's kind of difficult to gauge whether or not Chris J can actually see you, you know, in his field of view or not. And obviously, if you wait and he does, that just spells instant doom for you. So you want to get what you can in that kind of a situation. If he had a little bit more time, probably could have tucked himself away in the corner. What does surprise me a little bit more, though, is I would have expected him to hear the drop from Robs, but I guess all the shots firing around and probably muffled that sound. Otherwise, Body would have been more aware of it. Robs once again finding the opening towards B. And really, it's really important for Mousesports actually for this to work. And they, like, Robs finding these frags pretty much on his own without any sort of assistance at all just spreads the defense of G2 so thin.
Yeah, 2 rounds in a row. He's found the opening kill. One towards drop, one towards long. G2 going for the risk with 1 man towards A, while Mousesports have a lot of pressure here. Obviously, it's because we've seen so much presence on the B site from Mousesports, and that's why G2 want to go for the gamble stack, but that will change. They'll move MBK over to throw some utility, only to fall back again towards the connector. So they give up drop down. Again, possibility opens for Rops. G2 still have 3 towards B, however, fast rotations to either side with connect control being the main focal point of the CT side. But look at that nade, that's perfect. Body tagged down early on, flash to follow. Mousesports won't push, the smoke is down, but they have so much utility here. This is going to be so easy to go for and execute. I mean, if Stico just gets his 1 kill to Apex, they could even throw the smokes and back off and run back up A, because it's very dependent on this 1 pick from Stico. Does he go early and try and fake it, or does he go late? He's going to go for the late option, but Apex is pushed up. So that kill goes the way of the CT side. Body and Kenny S just absolutely tearing Mousesports apart, and this leaves 2 players up. Body knows Sunny's still in the drop room as well, and so Oscar's got to try and get a pick out through the plateau. Does move into the site, but MBK catches the cross, and that should be over. 10 seconds left. Sunny can't do this, surely.
There shouldn't be any reason for him to do so now. You just need to get away, Apex. All right, so G2 could have played that way safer. No reason for MBK to take that challenge. Apex should just get out of dodge at that point. But regardless, they do win the round. Really heads-up play from Apex there, though. Yeah. Obviously, he knows that Sticko's been around there, but that's 30 seconds ago. I wouldn't fault him for assuming that Sticko had joined up with the rest of his teammates at that point. After throwing the molly, for instance, down into mid and just ducking out. Instead, going for the aggressive pop flash just at the right time, probably just to get that kind of confirmation as the attack is starting to, set its course towards B. The second those nades come out from Mousesports, that's just kind of his go-ahead signal to clear out whatever angle there is towards A-halls. And that probably is what wins them the round, honestly, in the end. Obviously, great job from the ones stuck on the B side still, but if Sticko is left in a situation where he can come in on the backstab, then that would almost guaranteed just destroy the entirety of G2's defense.
6-3 up for Mousesports, still in their favor. But G2 with the better buy by far. Mousesports actually forcing up. So they actually got a soft reset after G2 got 2 rounds. Mousesports pulled it back, and then we had the buy. Yep. Now they're going back in G2's favor. Essentially, it's resetting onto Mousesports. So this money really isn't great. That's why we have a force, and Mousesports waiting for the bonus to build up. If they can get this round, that'd be great, but they're not expecting it, especially not with G2 having good weaponry, and even with the lackluster utility, they have the guns. MBK on the shotgun as well. Body on top of the tree, mollied off. He's gonna have to smoke that out. Does he drop or does he commit? The question remains. He will fall off the angle, but Kenny S is going to go down, and aggression through the smoke. Well timed from G2. Perfect cohesion. As now there's only 2 men left up. Make it 1. MBK is making cash, and Stiko's only just clearing out that smoke. He's going to go down. Great round from G2. Nice to push there, because they know they're up against pistols. They want to stop that bomb from going down.
Apex is a man possessed right now. Doing really well for himself. Just continuing that good form from both of the first 2 maps. Well, first maps is a bit of a stretch. They did lose 16-2, but Inferno, it's 10-5 he's sitting on right now. And G2 is slowly inching their way closer. They obviously, with the head armor purchase on Mousesports, realized that was a force by coming in from them, so a bit of an opportunity to get some money, and that's why we see the MP9 in the hands of Shox.
This really isn't a round that we can expect Mousesports to get too much done.
Shock's going really aggressive. He really wants to make some money here.
And he's got support as well. Maybe they don't even know he's pushed up this far. Nade will finish off Oscar. You do hate to receive that nade. Shock's going to try and follow up. Body's there for support once again. Pistol out. Finally going to get overwhelmed, but it's a very small consolation for Mousesports. They still only have 2 members intact for now, and G2 are coming in for the cleanup.
A couple of bullets being put into MBK from Body there. Fully aware of the positions from the remaining Mousesports members, and they're just going to go on a really aggressive hunt here. No real need for this, but
yeah, I like it. It's not required, and it's risky in terms of money if Mousesports get a couple of kills, but it builds up confidence. Getting that DM on, Mousesports getting scared, and losing all these gunfights. Never good for confidence going forward. So G2 just flexing their muscles there, and now we have the buy from Mousesports, but the money is only just allowing this. They won't have that AWP. They'll have utility, but they have to win this round or get a bomb plant if they want to buy up in the next.
Yep, that's accurate. Well, so things starting to turn the tide towards the favor of G2. And Mousesports feel the need to talk things over. Didn't see too much pan out for them in terms of the tactical pauses on Inferno. Never really managed to hold G2 back or put an end to them. It remains to be seen if this could be a different story. But G2 are looking pretty alright for now. It's really only Shox he has to completely empty out his account. He could have potentially gotten a drop, but he is playing with that silenced Colt. So maybe he opts to, he values that as much or so much that he'd rather spend his own money to get it instead of actually taking a drop. Because it is much to be said for having the familiarity, obviously.
Yeah.
And this is 1 tactical pause remaining for Mousesports. That can't be right, surely.
They've used, I can count 2, but I can't think of the 3rd. Either way, it's fast for Mousesports. They are looking to speed up the pace after that break. Rop's in a position that Stiko usually likes to take up, but Still a good man for the job. We saw a lot of use out of this position last time they played this map, but Shox is one step ahead. I like how G2 are aware of that. They stay intact. Stiko going to try and push up towards the A side. Apex put down to 16, but without that kill, he's still going to be a massive nuisance. And Kenny has a cross as well. There's his shot. Looking for more. Apex strikes with only 10 points of health. That's more than enough for him. Now, Mousesports regretting not being able to finish off that kill. Apex going to go in for another frag. There it is. Ooh, Mousesports, they are getting mown down.
They really are. And they actually have used 3 pauses. Used one obviously, right after G2 started picking a couple of rounds, and then a second one 2 rounds later. So yeah, they're really starting to get pressured here. And again, if I'm Mousesports now, you're not really finding much success towards A. The one round you got there was a bit of an anomaly. And then outside of that, it's been quick tempo towards B. So maybe just kind of roll with the punches and go, just try that, see how many times it can work. Obviously now it's going to be pistols, so it's going to be tough anyway. Smoke goes down to extinguish the Molotov, but MBK is ready to greet Sunny and his friends.
Oh, careful. MBK doesn't want to overstay his welcome. Body certainly will. Aggressive up on the tree, 2 for him. MBK does pick up one more, and yeah, pistols again go nowhere. Mousesports just getting wrecked again. Finally, they have the buy. This is what we're waiting for. The AWP that we've not seen too much of on this T side, especially in the previous few rounds at least. These fast B plays aren't working since G2 got utility. And that's been the thing, right? Mousesports were, what, 6-0 or 5-0 at one point, and they were just hitting B every single round. And then as soon as G2 actually had money to get this AWP, to get the rifles in play, it's been all theirs since that.
We haven't really seen Mousesports commit fully with their team into a B rush. It's been Rops as the sole guy running out towards Plateau, and he's gotten naded or he's gotten found out when he's hidden in the cubby, that kind of thing. But we haven't seen a full committal from Mousesports in that sense.
Yeah, the one round they did do it was on those pistols where G2 ran through the smoke. So
yeah,
you are right. Yeah, I would like to see that actual standard execute from Mousesports, but this is okay. They're holding the default, waiting for G2 to get aggressive, and in this position, very possible that G2 would. Just got to be careful they don't lose any men, and if they do, they need to trade.
So they're setting up. Already smoked off connector here. 3 players from G2 awaiting for the push, and this is going to be the wrap that we saw them do versus SK as well. Stiko getting caught out, but the remainder of the forces for Mousesports are towards B. Actually, though, Chris J is still stuck around towards A here. He's going to get found out by Apex. Wins out the duel, though, and that sends the bomb flying towards A again. G2 not really sure what to make of this. They do know Sunny could be hanging around here still towards B. Always going to get spotted out as well, and Chris J dies on site. So that leaves Oscar with an AWP and a bomb, and no real promise of actually making it to a bomb site. Kenny S doesn't actually hold the angle to cross for sight here, so Oscar could actually make it all the way forward, but considering the situation Oscar finds himself in, he probably wants to remove at least one G2 player before he tries to go for a plant. And you can see he's moving aggressively forward, and that's going to be right into the sights of Kenny S. So 8-6 for G2. They're really putting their imprint on this match so far. That's 6 rounds in a row. And right before that, you know, it's just a matter of resetting Mousesports' economy. So 8 out of the last 9 rounds. Not looking like they're actually going to give up another one until they swap halves. And, well, once again, we're seeing Apex picking up that auto sniper. Didn't really see too much time on Inferno, but the one round they did have it. Did pick up a couple of kills. And the buy from Mousesports, not the greatest. Very little utility. 3 Galils, a UMP, and an AK. That's all they have to fight for their lives with.
Here's the executor. The only issue is it's right as we have all these snipers in play, so not the best response from Mousesports up against this buy. We'll see how much they can do with it. Kenny is just shooting off shots on the back of the coop. Doesn't matter that he goes down the round, should be in the favor of G2. It's Oscar again to clutch. And yeah, complete mowdown. I feel like I'd like to see Mousesports throw that strategy in a few rounds earlier, because
when they have a couple of smokes, for instance.
Yeah, like, they threw a couple in, but I mean, you know,
they didn't have a smoke for. They didn't have a smoke for big block. They didn't have necessarily a Malta for chicken coop. Like
one right side rock smoke, and
I think it's like that, right? I think that would have been the way to go for Mousesports, and I felt the same when we saw them play versus SK as well. So it remains to be seen if they you know, pick up on that eventually, or if they feel like they're making other mistakes. Obviously, that is leading to the lack of success on the T side because they do keep going back to their defaults and these A takes. We saw the split once more. The kind of pseudo fake towards A with Sticko running up mid.
Yeah,
that did work out versus SK obviously because Sticko was able to make his way up in that sense, but got tagged by Fallen and so on.
I do feel like G2 watched that game and have taken notes, but either way, we're into the pistol round, and Mousesports, they need to pull this one back if they want any chance. It's going to be a big round for them. But Body, nice opener. Kenny to follow. G2 looking crisp in his pistol. Rops can only get one before he gets traded. And Mousesports, I mean, how much more can they really do? Sunny catches a kill, maybe Kenny as well. He does. MBK trades, but Oscar, this is doable. He won't shut the corner, and Apex catches him. But yeah, I was going to say, I feel like SK have done their research because everything that seemed to get picks from Mousesports against SK, so as you say, the Sticko run up mid, the Rops or Sticko get into position on the end of plateau in that corner, it's been read very well, and it seems like G2 are always ready for these little, just tiny little bits of information and changes that the Mousesports are throwing in. And so they definitely come into this one prepared, but I can see why they picked CT side now. And with the pistol as well, this is going to be even more confident for G2 going forward.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see what kind of tempo G2 decides to come out with. Not necessarily versus their anti-ecos. They probably want to play that as safely as possible. They do have 2 Molotovs instead to clear close angles. Also working in a group mode, 3 people towards A halts. And well, it's really when Mousesports get their hands on rifle. I'm interested to see whether or not G2 are going to go for that straight up B execute, just put a ton of pressure on Mousesports immediately, or if they're gonna slow things down, play default, and just try to get picks. For now, though, they are grouping up towards B after having created a little bit of a gap in the defense on A, which forces one Mousesports member to play towards connector. So Sticko had an opportunity to find a frag there, not gonna connect with anything at all, and Shox is gonna be able to down him. So
yeah, had to move out of that position, was expecting Molotovs to come through as they did. Rops, only man on the B-bomb site being wrapped on the backside, but Kenny going to get him from the lane, so Sunny 1v4. Maybe good with the Deagle, but this is a bit too much to ask for. There's Shox dead, and with that, Sunny probably
bails out. He's got a smoke in Kevlar. That's well worth taking into the next round. He has no hope of actually winning this, so no real point in challenging too much, and it seems like he's going to come to that realization himself. Starts moving away from the bomb site. Maybe if there's a chance that somebody from G2 could potentially hunt after him, and they have just thought the better of it, but Sunny decides to stick around at least in some vicinity of the bomb.
very quiet map as well for Oscar. Him and Sticko both sitting on 5 kills. This is a player that we need to see on that AWP, and while we haven't seen a lot of AWPing on the T side so far for Mousesports, moving into the second half, if he can get that AWP, maybe could kickstart some rounds with some of those mid picks.
Definitely could. And we did see, I think it was one AWP round from Oscar that comes to mind, and that was when he was trying to be aggressive on plat. Yeah, and didn't really make anything out of it. Obviously, Cobble isn't the most lenient map to play T-side AWP on, but player of Oscar's caliber, you kind of have expectations as well. So let's see. Should be another fairly easy round. I have some doubts that was the smoke Sunny wanted to throw on the B-bomb side. Shox, on the other hand, though, has made his way up towards A. He's going to get taken out by Oscar. Does very insignificant damage. Does give away an MP or a Mac 10 as well. But again, it's just kind of trying to get information for his team.
Contact for the rest of G2 as well, so Mousesports don't have any idea. Oscar's not ready for that second push from MBK, and Kenny will clear out the site too. This is their site, as Mousesports really can't contend with this one. Rops is maybe going to catch out Apex here, but no, only the Dink, and that will be his death. With that frag, maybe Mousesports can contest with this round, but no, not anymore. Sunny and Chris J, all about damage here. Apex caught in the open. Good shot from Chris. Sunny, like 10 versus rifles, and maybe will win that battle. He does get one, and maybe just saves his AK. That would be good. He might be considering at least going for one more fight, but the issue is they're double peeking. So if he does, probably going to get traded, even if he gets one kill. He's looking for it. He wants to find an opening. There's MBK, but faster on the trigger. G2 12-6, and Mousesports now with a buy. Do they have the money for the AWP? Because that's my question. No.
Well, they do if Sunny wants to completely
Break the meta.
give up. Yeah, well, if he just wants to go glass cannon, you know, Colt, and that's not necessarily something you want to do. So they're going to opt for utility and rifles instead. I think that's the right choice to go, honestly.
Ooh.
Well, 2 MAC-10s on the side of G2. That's interesting. It might indicate some aggression early on. Then again, we have seen French teams do 5 MAC-10s in buy rounds, so...
And Russian teams, if we think back to the Major as well.
Waiting Squadron. Different map, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Body probably wishes he had a different weapon there, but Apex shows him how it's done and ends Sunny.
Oh my god.
BK does get Oscar at least, but Rob's there. Finds 3 frags. That's incredible. Kenny S is able to deal with him, but not before Robs has just really put holes into that G2 squad. Probably shouldn't be allowed to get away with 3 kills there, but just excellent transfers. Solid precision as well. And now Chris J already made his way onto side. He's standing in the open though, so if Kenny finds the right timing here, could be a real disaster. Stico's pretty far away still. He's going to be wrapping around through mid. He did this quite a bit versus SK as well. So you might expect G2 to know about this. Oh, Kenny gives up his position.
It's unfortunate as well. Doesn't get a kill for it. You'd hope in this position you get your first frag for free and then you can take a 1v1, but now he's got the flank. Look at Stico's position. He's so ready for this. Kenny tries to spray, tries to look back as well at Chris J, who he expects to peek, but he'd already fallen off the broken wall. Stico will get it done. And Mousesports, lifeline, an opportunity back into this map potentially, but the issue is G2 can and will still buy into this. Loads of cash to play with on the T side, and the CT's only keeping 2 men alive. The money, yeah, it's good enough for this round, but will it be good enough for next? If G2 find 13, I think this game is looking to be almost over because Mousesports won't have money. They have max $1,400 on Oscar, and that's just not enough. They're going to get $1,400 loss bonus to add to that, so most cash they'll have is about $3,000. So Mousesports really need to win this round. They need to keep men alive while doing so. Shox speeds up the pace, charging in towards B. He's going to get spammed through the smoke, and Rops, again, a great round in the previous, and already kicking this one off with a frag. Still 2 more players of G2, make it 4 actually up towards long. Stico got to be careful here. Molotov comes in, he looks away, but at the wrong time. Apex jumps out, doesn't check the corner. Stico 2 kills, bomb dropped as well. Maybe a third, but Kenny trades. How much more can he get done though? In a 1 versus 4 here, Kenny trying to get onto this B bomb site, but he is stopped instantly. Rops takes another kill, and Mousesports, that's a very good round.
Oh, almost as good as they could have hoped for, only Stico dying there. So they do manage to get a bit more money on their end. That should actually save them for a buy if they were to actually get reset here. G2 on there, and though scraping for cash. Apex has bought up that single AK. With the way he has been playing, that is still a pretty scary thought for them. It could definitely open up the A bomb site here. Wouldn't be surprised if we see him moving his way through A halls or mid, as he's done so many times before. It is a 2-man defense here, no ops, but still quite the defense to have to work through if you're G2. And they don't really have any needs or something like that to help clear the angle. So this is just going to be solely down to the individual skill and prowess of Apex. If G2 are going to find anything at all. Nearly catches Sunny on a timing as he brings up the grenades. Drops the Molotov and stays safe for now.
Yeah, still got to be worrying about this gun on Apex. Mousesports can't take this round lightly, even though the investment is light from G2, or the majority at least, with these Deagles and no armor. Sunny, I like this position. Will they bypass it? Body walking around the corner, not checking the spot. Sunny gets a kill, but the issue is now he's trapped. They've got the T's pinned in between Sunny and Oscar, but it's not exactly a free situation to get yourself out of, because Mousesports have now pushed Oscar up towards long, meaning they've given up the A-bomb site. Drops is trying to rotate back in. Oscar trying to force a kill, trying to make this one easier, but look at Apex's position. Yep. He's worked all the way into the connector. Chris J has no idea. Spray does connect, and Apex now taking down one of the B players, running back towards A. Oscar dead as well. This one rifle is doing everything here for G2. A third for Apex. He's shutting down the buy of Mousesports. G2, the rest of the team haven't even seen these CTs just yet.
Only 20 seconds remaining, though. They still need to make it on the site. They might not expect Sunny to be there, and he finds 2. Still, though, chance to make it onto the bomb site. Stico, is he going to be in position to actually stop the cross?
Oh,
he is,
no.
And they line up for 18 HP as well. I kind of figure with the way Apex was starting off that round, it would have been able to connect the shots to actually make it happen. But G2 nearly stealing around the way there. Holy cow, Apex. Doing some work here. 22 kills to his name so far.
And he's been top ranking all 3 maps as well for G2. The one positive to take out of that round for G2 is that's not a round they were expected to win anyway. They got 4 kills, so Mousesports' money now isn't in the best of situations. You know, if G2
really
pick this one up, they will, yeah, Mousesports will be on eco, or force at the very least, right? So G2 now are sitting pretty in the sense they know they've at least kept the money at bay with very little investment. Look at this buy, it's still pretty much perfect, other than the lack of armor and some utility, but you know, if any team could get it done without too much utility, it is going to be G2. So up towards A again, only one defender, that's Sunny. Might have to call for some support. We've actually got Oscar in the door as well with that AWP, a player who we need to step up on the second half if Mousesports are going to have a chance. But G2 is still leading this one. Confident as ever, Apex up towards one, smoke down. G2 just trying to get rid of this utility for Mousesports.
Slower pace this time around. Still fairly spread out defense on the end of Mousesports, though. You see only 2 players really just committed to the B bomb site, and a lot of this is going to come down to Chris J and Stico. Stico's able to find 2 though, makes up for Chris going down immediately. And now G2 kind of stuck on the bomb site. Stico's got to take full advantage of that. Oh, what a free fire. And what an ace to cap off the round. Stico showing his worth for Mousesports.
I don't know why this guy gets so much, like, you know, I wouldn't even say hate. I feel like that's the wrong word. I don't think he gets enough appreciation. This guy has been destroying this event.
You know, you talked about it a couple of rounds ago, how Stico was sitting on 5 frags together with Oscar. Now he's up to 15.
Yeah.
Oscar's on 6. So he's taking a bit of a leap there. Obviously 5 frags in 1 round, that'll do the trick. And what a round it was. The pre-fire onto a G2 player coming out from drop room.
That is just insane.
Just picture perfect.
G2 though, look at this pace, right into the drop down. How does Rop survive that? 2 kills. Yeah, he gets hunted, but with the dink instantly coming in, he shouldn't have even got 1 frag there. Mousesports holding the advantage very heavily. Kenny jumping with the nade, and the bomb going to be dropped as now Sunny has control of that. So Mousesports, this is their round to win. Oscar may get blindsided by Apex, but he's going to at least realize he's there. So support called, flash over the top for Sunny, peek onto Apex, but got to be careful. They want to keep as many players alive, knowing how much damage that Apex did just a few rounds prior. And wow, Mousesports, they're making this game look a lot closer than it was earlier on. This is now 12-11, and still Oscar, as you say, 6 kills. Everyone else, minimum of 13.
Yeah. It's a team effort, this, and well, G2 need to talk things over. They do have the money to buy, obviously, in this round, but they're struggling to find new openings in the defense of Mousesports. And well, to be fair, both teams kind of went through the same kind of struggle. Started off the half pretty well, and eventually the CT side just decided to put a full stop to it. That said, though, G2 have been close on occasions, especially that round where Stico is able to line him up on A there after the solo AK buy from Apex. I'm really curious to see what G2 can come up with. They do have an op on Kenny S. So that op battle is definitely in play. Chris J is also going to be a part of that action. Well, let's see. All the utility they could have wanted. Molotovs and smokes galore. So it's all in the hands of G2.
Mousesports will manage to pull this one back. That would be incredible. But G2 is still there. Well, more favored map, I guess you could say. Molotov towards long body, going to smoke it. Shock's wide facing this. Chris has to be aware he is. Shock comes through. Chris, a 2nd kill as well. That's more than he would have bargained for. Mousesports now sitting very confident into this round. And with G2 having no money, a bomb plant was needed at the very least, but at this point it doesn't seem realistic. Apex running in through the smoke, trying to do the Stico up towards connector. He smokes door. He'll get his way through. Now, do Mousesports realize? I think Rops has an idea. Oh, the timing. Apex doesn't realize he's being flanked as well. Rops will get him from the back line. So Mousesports back in control. That could have been a scary push, but luckily Rops had his number. But MBK, one more shot from him. It's going to leave him in a 1v4 though, with Kenny S going down, and shot from Oscar midair. MBK going to fly down to the ground.
It's so important that Chris finds those 2 early frags that allows them to keep 2 players on that A bomb site. Just have a very strong defense altogether. No need for rotation. Nobody's going to get caught out of position. Apex tries for a bit of a Hail Mary there going through the smoke, but obviously smoke goes down, all footsteps all of a sudden vanish, right? And that is a big tell for Robs to know that he hasn't necessarily moved up towards site and is able to help out the remaining players on B there, make sure they don't get backstabbed. We're gonna see him a bit of buy though. Less utility, less weaponry from G2. Again, it's that 2-3 setup from Mousesports. And obviously with this B side, in that sense being weakened, it is really the go-to place for G2 to find their mark in this game. They're gonna have to deal with both Stico and Christian doing a really good job of holding everyone back. Have made their way into drop room now. MBK does make a bit of a step, so Robs is fully aware of that. There is presence from the T side down here. Stico also closing the gap. They've given up plateau control completely here. MBK taking the fight versus Stico, not going to win it out. Barely does any damage. Body, Robs, that's a bit aggressive.
Oh no, Stico, he can't follow up on the site either. M4 going to go down, and now it's 2 up for Mousesports. Good entries found from G2. That was an unfortunate push from Rops, but a really good bait from Body. He shoots towards Stico out in the E-box, then Rops jumps in from behind, and Body completely turns around. Knew Rops was coming.
Yeah.
G2, 13th round. Of course, this game is close, but after a huge streak from Mousesports, as you can see, 6 in a row from the current CT side, it is somewhat brought back from G2. Question is, will this now be reset? Although G2 obviously have plenty of cash to buy up, Mousesports, if they find this next round, which they can buy into, G2's money may be compromised. This game is still, you know, balancing. No idea who's going to take this at this point.
Actually, Apex dies to the bomb there. One more man lost for G2. Still though winning the round, that's all they're going to need at this point. But yeah, as you said, that streak from Mousesports put them in a pretty decent position to be able to rebuy here. That is what they're going to do. Oscar will get an op in his hands as well. Only Robs really not having any cash to go for, so Mousesports will be able to buy up in a following round as well, even if they were to lose. That's not necessarily the case for G2. They would have to get a bomb plant here. I guess they would potentially buy up with 3 people and then supplement that with CZs or whatnot, but wouldn't be optimal. Instead, they do have an ideal buy going out right now.
Boost up, we haven't seen this yet. Will Mousesports expect it? Will they line up? Kenny misses the shot. He's got to follow up. Shox does. Stico trades, but Kenny's going to miss another one. This is crucial. He needs to find this frag, try and get the man advantage back, but MBK will do it instead. Takes down Stico from the drop down, and now Mousesports limited on B with only 1 man. It is Rops. M4 in hand, spraying away. There's the first. One more and drop to contend with, but he isn't expecting MBK to burst out second place. Mousesports now with 2 men just left standing, and trying to get back into the site is going to be Oscar, already dead to MBK, having a great game as well. 3 kills. Sunny, last man up here for the CT side, and probably already going to fall back and save the money for Mousesports. And good enough to buy up, but
obviously, save money anywhere you can, and it's not necessarily realistic for Sunny to go for this kind of a retake. But yeah, G2 finally finding the key to victory here, and it's through drop room, really. Even though they are finding a frag on plateau there, it's off of the back of the multi-pronged attack, with pretty much putting Mousesports defenders, seeing how they're only playing 3 towards B, in a really rough position where they have to spread their attention so thin they can't necessarily deal with it all. Well, nobody's going to hunt after Sunny. It makes sense on the end of G2, as their money had yet to really get under control. It's going to be a different story now, though. And for Mousesports, this might be the final stand. They're going to have to expend a lot of that extra cash that they've built up. As you can see, only Sunny, who saved that previous round, really has too much to write home about. And with him sharing the wealth with his teammates, he's going to be brought down to 2.4. Him and Stico, only 1 sitting with any sort of bank. Big round for both teams.
definitely so. And G2 with the last couple, it looked like Mousesports were coming back into this game, but G2 seemed to have maintained control, and Well done to that, but how much control can they maintain? Shox is posted, flash, and that smoker over deep, actually deep. Pete comes through, Shox misses a shot. That's unfortunate. Could have got him a free pick. Chris J's actually got in a really aggressive position as well. I don't know if they're going to push with this. The molly, just to make sure that no one's in that left corner. Apex as well. Look at this. He's worked his way up towards A. How's he done this? Sunny has no idea. This is really, really good. And Kenny even has the angle as well. So if Sunny tries to get aggressive, he'll go down, but it doesn't matter because Apex finds that shot. Now the door player dead, and already Mousesports calling for reinforcements. Oscar, a slow game so far this map, but he needs to step up here and now. He's the last line of defense for the A-bomb site. Apex crossing out, making a lot of noise. Oscar close, and he can't step up to the mark. Drops has to do so instead up from the balcony, but he just gets sprayed down. Running back, playing safe, and Kenny has hit a shot with the AWP up close. Stiko to trade, and Kenny wrapping the lowers. Chris J dead, and Stiko 2. Kenny S is just making this easy, and G2 will find 15 rounds, map and match point here in Cobblestone.
What a hero Apex is, though. Just every time he moves towards that A-bomb site, it spells danger for Mousesports. That time, finding those 2 frags to just completely decimate whatever defense Mousesports had set up. Even though Oscar finds the first frag, it just has given G2 so much space to get close up onto the site, and by the time the rotations come in, you have 3 G2 players just peering towards that balcony, making it impossible for Stiko and Co to really get anything done. Well, we talked about how there's not much money left for Mousesports, and they do manage to get 1 AWP scrapped together for Oscar, but outside of that, it's 2 Mag 7s, Deagle on Chris J. Not a whole lot of utility, and G2 are going to be fully aware of that situation. So that's why we're seeing them play set up so passively initially. Going to be perfectly fine with letting Mousesports use the little they have of utility early on. No need to commit to anything at all.
Looked like Rob's wanted to challenge that smoke. I would have thought that was a dangerous decision. G2 faking drop control, but the thing is they haven't taken any. They've still got the smoke down, so it's theirs for now, but with no man in there, they can easily back off towards A if need be, but that does not look to be the case with all 5 players on this side of the map. Rob still holding the outside of drop, just constantly repositioning, trying to catch a lucky timing shot to G2.
Well, that's the last smoke for Mousesports going out now with 50 seconds left, so still plenty of time for G2 to just wait this out. That's what they're content with doing as well. They've grouped up with all 5 here. Oscar still towards that A-bomb site. Stiko, though, with a Mag 7 in a prime position here by Broken Wall, can do a ton of damage as long as he avoids the flash.
He does avoid the flash, but he can't do that much. Only damage to the first player. They get in, but Chris, he'll stop them at their tracks. 2 shots with the Deagle. Lands to Kenny and MBK, looking for 1 more as well. If you can make this a 1v2, they can potentially pick this up, but he's dead. Now Oscar has to step up once again. Shox is on the angle. Oscar peeks out wide to Apex, and he'll catch him out of position. It's now Shox v Oscar. The AWP v AWP. Bomb going down on the site. Shox is going to stick with the plant, and that allows Oscar to get through the smoke. Wrapping round, sneaking slowly. Shox just sits on default. Is going to hear the footsteps, and that'll be it. G2 take it 16 rounds to 12.
That was a no-scope. FYI, that was a no-scope from Shox. He was not ready for that wide peek from Oscar.
It didn't look like it. He did flick really fast. I was thinking, you know, his zoom sensitivity must be pretty high for him to hit that. That is a crazy shot to finish off a game, and what a game as well. You know, Mousesports impressed me in terms of how far they got, but of course G2 on Cobblestone, we expected that to go their way. They looked very, very strong. Great attempt to pull it back for Mousesports, but G2 were the better team in the series.
There they were in the end, and Mousesports again, their big chance was on Inferno. Having really G2 put their backs against the wall. That should have been their one moment to close this out and qualify for the playoffs. Instead, they're going to have to fight it out one more time as G2 are the first team to solidify a spot at the playoffs.
Yeah, it's not over for Mousesports, of course, though. They have got plenty more opportunities, and I'm still confident they'll be making it through in the future to join G2 Esports, of course, as well. But either way, that is a loss for now. They will have to have a go another time. And what a map that was, really. I mean, back and forth, it's got to be annoying for Mousesports to have brought it so far in Inferno to look like they were going to take the game, and then it goes to overtime and G2 just dominate them there. But either way, A very impressive win nonetheless. And G2, a team that we've talked about, having this high skill ceiling that we know they have, but just not being able to get up the results and consistently take these victories. Now it seems like they're doing well. 3-0 in the best of 3 group stages as well. No upsets against them. They're moving forward into the playoffs with first seed. And frankly, we could be seeing them go far in this tournament.
Oh, absolutely. And a G2 that kind of hits their stride are incredibly dangerous and can deal with pretty much any team in the world, even in best of 3 or best of 5s or what have you. That's just how good they are. But it seems like we're going to talk to one of the main men of the match, Apex. He's standing ready with Paula.
Hello everybody, I'm here with Dan Apex from G2 Esports. They've just taken out Mousesports 2-1, and that makes you guys our first team through to the top 8. Round of applause. Unfortunately, we don't have an audience yet, but congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So, how did that best of 3 go from your perspective?
Well, it was really hard game because we lost the first map 16-2, which is like a, I don't know how to say, but it's like we got fucked. So yeah, I had to say that. And then the 2 other maps were really close, but we managed to come back on Inferno, which is really hard, and winning Cobble on a good way, I guess. So well played to them. They play really well, and I know that they will go through anyway. So.
Yeah, I did want to ask about that first map, because of course you're reveling in victory right now, but let's talk about potential mistakes that happened. Why do you think that first map went the way it did?
Well, I'm actually the in-game leader on Mirage, but the thing is, I knew how they played. Like Robs is always alone on A, but the thing is, we just shit in our pants to rush him and just like picking connector, etc. We just play like the worst way we ever did. So when you do that, like you just get wrecked. Mainly by your team like them who have huge skill-wise. So that's what happened, and I hope it's not going to happen again in the future.
All right, final thing then, because I don't want to keep you too long. What does it mean to be going through as the first team to the top 8? And then, of course, how are you going to, have a small little relaxation or celebration today? What's going to happen over the course?
Well, the thing is, in the Swiss format, we used to go through most of the time, but we lost in quarterfinal. So our main objective is play like we did in the group stage, because we played pretty well the 3 best of 3. So we need to just wake up and play just better than we did in the last playoff, like in the major Boston. So I hope it's gonna happen, but I'm pretty confident.
Just quickly, you mentioned Mouse. Any other teams that you think will definitely make the top 8?
Of course, SK, FaZe, Navi looks in good shape. I don't know, there are like so many teams, but Cloud9 as well. I don't know for the rest, maybe it's gonna be tight. Astralis probably as well. So yeah, it's already like 6 or 7 teams, so it's good. It's good.
All right, well, any final words that you'd like to say?
Nothing else. No, thank you for support everyone, and see you in 3 days for the playoff.
We'll see you there, but don't go anywhere right now because we've got a bunch of other games going on. Well, one more after this, and we have a second stream going on at the same time. So, bunch of Counter-Strike still to come, and of course, for now, we'll head back to our casters.
A very brash and honest interview from Apex, but you do love to see it, and a great performance from him across all 3 maps, just dominating Mousesports as he has been doing, and putting it well in the sense that, they keep losing in quarterfinals, but if they play like they did in the groups, man, this team is going to go far.
Yeah, they're not going to lose in quarterfinals if they play like this, at least if they shape up their Inferno. I'd say. And yeah, Apex definitely want to give candid interviews. Probably still my favorite interview of all time. His winner's interview at Assembly, I think it was in 2000 and God knows when. Yeah, he's free spirit in that sense, and he played like an absolute beast in this game. Vital part, definitely the MVP on the side of G2 in this matchup. And saw it towards the end of Cobble as well. They were struggling to find rounds, even in the round where he's the only one buying up an AK, just nearly winning it on his own, and then, as you mentioned, the latter round where he managed to sneak up, yeah, into mid and so on. And this is the eco round, yeah, finding 3 frags, nearly setting G2 up for a much more comfortable win, obviously, but then Stiko happens. Overall, just a really entertaining match. And I think Cobble was not necessarily in the same, but I guess it didn't play out in the same manner as Inferno did. Inferno had a lot of mistakes from both teams. Cobble was much more of a well-played side from both opponents.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, it just makes you question what would have happened in this map if Oscar stepped up, if he had the performance he had across the other games, because that was really close, and he ended it with, what, how many kills?
Not a whole
8,
lot.
something, 9?
Yeah, it's
You know, slow game, which is a shame, but obviously, you know, that's just something you have to deal with. He went 9 in 20, so luckily we had some good performances across the side of Mousesports. Obviously, with them dominating the first map as well, they are going to be very confident with Mirage, and moving to the playoffs. You know, when they eventually get there, if they eventually get there, which they should, I'm excited to see how much Mirage are going to be able to play. Will teams let them get through with it? And of course, you know, how far will they get alongside G2, two of the teams that definitely deserve to be in the playoffs so far.
Yeah, no, it's going to be definitely, it's going to be super interesting to see, really. And only time will tell. But for now, it seems like we'll be taking a short break. We still have one map, or one game remaining, and that's going to be Hellraisers versus MVP, the South Korean surprise. So definitely tune back in for that. But for now, we'll see you in a little bit.
Lootbet, online esports betting. Dota, CSGO, Overwatch, Hearthstone, and many more. Bet on tournament matches or in-game events while viewing them live. Deposit using money, bitcoins, or even skins. Join Lootbet now. Use the code you see here when you deposit and grab your bonus.
Don't know how to build a team from scratch or find good teammates? DreamTeam.gg, the ultimate team building platform. Find and connect with new players, coaches and teams. Manage and monetize your team. Get on fast track to advance from novice to amateur and, if desired, to professional gamer. Join DreamTeam.gg today.
sunlight begins to fade now, and I feel like I'm losing time, but I don't know how I'm here. The sunlight has turned to gray, and I feel like I'm losing love again. I don't know how I'm here. I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you're looking down. I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you're looking down. 'Cause it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna breathe. And it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna need. And it's you that I wanna need. And I know now we're getting older. The world we built is slipping through our fingers. We're running out of time. But you are the one I've chosen, and I won't lay still, living left behind, imprisoned by this love. I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you're looking down. I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere
Bet. Online esports betting. Dota, CSGO, Overwatch, Hearthstone, and many more. Bet on tournament matches or in-game events while viewing them live. Deposit using money, bitcoins, or even skins. Join LootBet now. Use the code you see here when you deposit and grab your bonus.
Don't know how to build a team from scratch or find good teammates? DreamTeam.gg, the ultimate team building platform. Find and connect with new players, coaches and teams. Manage and monetize your team. Get on fast track to advance from novice to amateur and, if desired, to professional gamer. Join DreamTeam.gg today.
Welcome back to the final series of the day here at the Season 4 finals for the Starlight I-League. Of course, we do have Hellraisers versus MVP. So Hellraisers back with their full roster. Issa is in the country and in the server as well. And MVP, the team that has got so close to taking maps and taking series at the very least, if we look back to their game versus VP, but yet so far.
Yeah, yet so far. And, it's a learning experience for them. We kind of outlined that during their first matchup versus SK. But yeah, it would have been fun to see them actually being able to topple VP. That would have been quite the scalp to take. But nonetheless, they still have another chance to do so. They're going up against Hellraisers, albeit a reinforced Hellraisers now that Issa is, as you said, on the server and in the country. Because they played the 2 first games with HS as a stand-in.
Yeah, and that doesn't help, of course, as we've been saying, obviously a great player. I'm really lucky that they got, him as a free agent just in time to come to this event, because that is a really good addition to just pick him up. But, when you don't play with your full roster, you lose a lot of your at least strategy, your setups, etc., and positioning as well. Positions that Issa is known to play, like we look towards his balcony play on Inferno, is so strong. And then when you remove that, HS maybe he's not a balcony player.
Yeah.
You got to throw him in a position where he's uncomfortable, or the rest of your team have to change your setup. So good that we actually have the full roster here as well. But MVP, for this at least 3-man core, this is the first time they've played a top-tier European event as well. Last time we saw them here was 2 seasons ago for StarSeries, but of course it was with only 2 similar players as well out of the 5. But let's talk about that later. We'll start with Hellraisers, we'll start with Bondik, and we'll go to an interview with Parla.
All right, guys, I'm here with Bondik, who, with his team, Hellraisers, are about to go up against MVP. But firstly, could you tell us about what happened yesterday against Heroic?
So first of all, everyone knows that we played with Standing. It was pretty hard for us. We didn't have like perfect game plan as we usually have as a team. So we just hope that Issa will get here pretty fast, and we are a bit hyped about it. And like American fairy tale with Cloud9, who was like 0-2 and then 1 major. So I hope we can do the same here, right?
Exactly. And now having Issa back on the team as opposed to having HS standing in, does that give you guys more confidence? Because you need it, you're 0-2.
Yeah, sure. We're as I told, we hyped. So I hope everything will be fine.
Yeah. Well, Bondik, I can't wait to see what happens.
Okay. Thank you, man.
Definitely a matchup that Hellraisers on paper should be taking, but obviously when we have these teams like MVP, like Tyloo, there's huge upset potential. There's, teams not at least anti-stratting them, and that certainly gives an element of surprise, I guess you could say, when you have these Asian teams, especially the underdogs.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. But Hellraisers being able to field their full 5, that's going to be a big game for them. Bondik also touched on the fact that they feel a lot more confident, obviously, with having Issa in place. So it's going to be a tough task for MVP. Here we have the lineup: Voxic, the star opera on that squad, and Issa, the fashionably late arriving player, to put it that way. Angel, the in-game leader, Bondik, the kind of I guess the janitor. He kind of does a bit of everything. And then Dead Fox as well to round out the lineup. So yeah, lots of different nationalities in that squad. Always cool to see these kind of international lineups coming together and actually doing pretty well, because that's something that has to be said. Obviously, Hellraisers, maybe not the most spoken about team, but they've definitely, made their mark at different times. Obviously, in terms of consistency, not always there, but they do have the potential to really bring it to some of the top teams.
Yeah, definitely been on the rise as of late, and the addition of Bondik is a great addition in my opinion. You know, it's Star Ladder events where Hellraisers actually seem to find their most success. We don't see them go deep in majors or ESL events, for example, but if we look back to the Star Ladder Invitational in China last year, 3rd place there, taking a victory over Heroic in the 3rd, 4th place decider, and then they also ended up in the semi-finals after competing in the I-League Season 3 finals, I think also in Kiev as well. So yeah, definitely a team that's had success here in the country, and obviously Bondik and Angel, home country,
Exactly.
going to be their chance to shine here on the big stage.
It is a bit, home court advantage maybe. Really enjoy playing here. They've always done that. Even if you go back to the Hellraisers edition with Simple, for instance, they had good results. Obviously, a completely different lineup, but something about the Hellraisers' name and doing well at Star Ladder. So that's going to be cool to see. And obviously, they want to keep that going, and for that to happen, they have to topple the South Koreans of MVP. And we haven't really seen, a win coming out of MVP. We've seen a map win being taken away from VP, which is very impressive. But overall, been positively surprised by how well they've been performing and how well thought out their game plan has been.
Yeah, for all teams to go 0-3, MVP is a team you would put as, okay, this is a team that really shouldn't be taking maps off of, or taking series off of these teams. But yeah, they've impressed us. 10 rounds versus SK on Cobble, that was good. Obviously, overtimes and 3 map series versus VP that they really should have won. They're going to regret that, but they've got another opportunity. Let's have a look at MVP with an interview with Parla.
Hey guys, I'm here with Solo, the captain for MVPK. Yesterday, you played Virtus Pro. Are you happy?
We almost won, but lose. I'm so sad.
Well, you guys took it to the wire, so nothing to be sad about. Now, you're about to play against Hellraisers. What are your thoughts?
Hellraiser, very good team. We will do my best.
All right, there we go. Solo, thank you so much, and we are wishing you the best of luck.
Quick and concise there from Solo, but they don't want their tournament life to be the same. They want to fight forward for another best-of-3 series. They do have to win this one for that to be the case. Of course, they are currently 0-2, sitting alongside Hellraisers, with only Fnatic being the first eliminated team of this tournament. That's about to change after this best-of-3 series.
Yeah, that is the case. A lot on the line. Really cool to see Solo actually being the one interviewed as well. For those who don't know, Solo is about as OG as you can get when it comes to Counter-Strike. Definitely the best Korean player of all time, probably together with Termi and those guys. The coach of MVP right now. Back in the heyday of 1.6, these guys were the ones to kind of raise fly the flag for South Korea and predominantly Asia. And actually being a solidified top team that would actually compete at the very highest level. We've seen South Korean teams getting top 2 at CPLs, that kind of stuff. And he has a ton of history and experience to bring to these new players. One of them on your screen right now, in Zine, who's been playing very well, honestly. Yeah. Had a bit of a rough start to the tournament, very slow first map, but gradually got into it. And that's really, really cool to see. And I'm hoping the fact that they have 3 extremely experienced players, not necessarily from CSGO, but from obviously the tournaments they've played in 1.6, that can actually bestow some wisdom on the younger kids who are meant to be the new generation of Counter-Strike players from Korea.
For sure. And I mean, it's a similar story here as well for Hellraisers, right? We have the old school players like Angel and Bondik who've been around the scene for years, and then we can have kind of upcoming guys like Issa and Woxic who really don't have as much experience playing on this level, only joining a team of this level, especially Issa, I would say, who hasn't joined, top team until Hellraisers. And before that was just playing locally and, doing very well online, but we didn't really see too much in terms of LAN performance. So it's nice to see these teams looking, both these teams, looking very good coming into this matchup. And while it is a 0-3 match, I don't think it feels like a 0-3 match. Both teams have impressed me so far. Obviously, I'm discounting most of Hellraiser's performance throughout this event because of the stand-in, but now that it's back, they should be on full form. No excuses to not win this game, but MVP, of course, as we always know, upset potential.
Yeah, definitely the case. And as you mentioned, yeah, it's a bit rough to put too much weight on what Hellraisers did in the past. They did have a pretty close second map versus Heroic in their 0-2 defeat. on Cobblestone. That went to overtime and versus Na'Vi. Also had a pretty close first map. That was on Cobblestone as well. So, you know, they're definitely putting up a fight here. And now with Issa back in the lineup, I'm going to assume that, you know, they feel pretty confident about their chances here. But again, for me, it's going to be, I'm more focused on MVP because we don't get to see them as regularly. Obviously, Hellraisers do find themselves in tournaments such as, you know, Pro League and that kind of stuff. So there is a bit more exposure to them. So yeah, being able to see MVP play, you know, see how they deal, how they adapt with the issues and problems, and what they play maps we necessarily haven't seen them play before. That's always really, really cool. And what we've seen so far has been a positive, almost, you know, yeah, they're just non-stop positive really compared to what I had expected. So I'm really excited for this matchup and looking forward to see what kind of maps we're going to be looking at.
Yeah, Veto should be very interesting, right? Because it's that thing for Hellraisers where you just have to play your best maps. You don't have to worry about what MVP are good or bad at, because at the end of the day, you know, their stats are greatly inflated by playing those local teams in Asia and being one of the best teams in the region. They have a fairly easy job of doing so. Now we do have the Vetoes on our screen. MVP getting rid of Overpass, a good choice. Hellraisers very strong on that map. Train are going to be counter-banned. And then Inferno picked. MVP, not the best performance against SK there, but we saw, you know, a little bit of life from them, and again, you know, it's a map that they like to play, which is fine. You know, we didn't expect them to get a great performance versus the best team in the world. But Cash as well being picked for Hellraisers.
Yeah, and Inferno obviously being picked up probably off the back of the fact that they managed to beat VP on it. You know, no easy task for a completely fresh team in that sense.
Yeah.
So probably riding the confidence from that, and that's really cool to see. No nuke is going to be available, sadly, probably for MVP. They did have a good showing versus VP, even though it slipped out of their hands at the very end. And Mirage to end it. So we haven't seen them play Cash yet.
No.
And we have not seen them play...
oh, they played the other...
No, we have not seen them play Mirage either. We've seen them play Cobblestone. We've seen them play Inferno. And Nuke.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a very safe bet for Hellraisers to get rid of Nuke. Not only a map they don't play, but I do question leaving it in so late, really, because, you know, they removed Train as their first ban. That's a map that MVP showed nothing on when they played versus VP. So for Hellraisers to prioritize, I mean, it worked out, right? But the risk was that what if we see MVP pick Nuke?
I guess you know, they might have gone off the stats that MVP has, and they've played a buttload of Train in the past.
Yeah.
But, you know, again, inflated. So even though they might have, you know, something crazy like a 90% win rate on Train, it's against, you know, regional teams, and that doesn't necessarily tell you the whole story.
You know, here's a great example on your screens now. A lot of maps and better win percentage on Inferno, but beating Signature, beating Flash, you know, these are
not exactly
teams.
the same as them beating Fnatic, for instance.
Exactly. So Hellraisers definitely got the experience, but MVP looking to gain experience in this tournament as well. You know, they've definitely been doing so far, and I hope we see more of them in the future, regardless of the outcome of this matchup, because, you know, it is nice to see this Asian scene definitely growing. If we think back to 2 years ago, there were no relevant Asian teams up in, you know, Europe playing these top tier events. You know, this is a $300,000 event. You would not expect to see an Asian team here actually be able to bring series to 3 maps and get into OT against top teams.
It would pretty much just be Ty Lu showing up, you know, at one event every 5 months
and getting a best of 1 win and then just dropping out.
Yeah, exactly. Like it would be just like a flash in the pan, and that was that. And then they went into kind of a hiatus or, you know, hibernation, if you'd like. And obviously we'd want to see this, you know, once a month if that was a possibility. But luckily we just have to appreciate what we got right in front of us. And MVP, they're gonna win the knife, so they have the choice of sides to kick things off. It's going to be interesting to see what they actually opt to do. And we did see actually them having a pretty decent T side on Inferno versus Virtus Pro, so we might see them starting on the attacking part of the map. It remains to be seen. I do think it's going to be a bit of a tougher challenge, though, than Virtus Pro. Obviously, Virtus Pro coming in right off of the back of a roster change, and just VP, even before that, wasn't necessarily that hot of a commodity in the CS world. They've been slumping pretty heavily. Obviously too early to expect them to turn things around with Mihu in the lineup. Hellraisers, on the other hand, have had more of a steady trajectory pointing upwards.
Who's VP's next matchup? Do we have that yet? Or I feel like...
VP's next matchup?
Yeah. I'm completely lost with that one. They just lost to Liquid 2-0. Was that their elimination match? Actually, may have been.
No,
they're 1 and 2.
They're 1 and 2. So
yeah, we'll get that later then.
Yeah.
worrying stuff. But for Hellraisers, looking confident coming into this match. We can see, obviously, these guys huddled up, ready and waiting to get on with this matchup. Of course, this should be a victory for them, right? This should be exactly where they're comfortable, regardless of the maps to come through. You know, we've got the likes of, you know, Clever Angel, great IGL, able to put up a hell of a lot of frags on the board as well. One of the few IGLs that is actually one of the best players on his team, I'd say. He's consistently, you know, first or second place on that scoreboard while also managing everything to do with that team. And obviously, you know, the star Orpa Woxic, the consistent entry, Issa, and yeah, the addition of Bondic, there will be a lot of fun as well. Dead Fox has been a bit slower since moving off of the AWP, but obviously it's a change that's definitely influenced Hellraisers in their recent success. Woxic has been phenomenal, and if he can continue that on LAN as he has been doing online, especially in this matchup, that could be a real key to success.
Yeah, no, it definitely can. And well, you talked about we're expecting Hellraisers to win this, and I think the only chance MVP has at taking this is obviously if they can bring it to a third map, and that, you know, constitutes them winning the first one, Inferno, their own map pick, because going into Cash, that's a map that Hellraisers are very comfortable on, and it's a map that MVP don't play at all. It's usually their go-to ban, but they didn't want to play Overpass. I'm not sure if they have concocted something extremely special, just held that, you know, those cards tightly to their chest the entire time, but I have my doubts, to put it that way. So I think if MVP wants a shot at this, they're going to have to do the most of the work in this first map, but it's going to be very fun to see.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what is going to come out from this team in terms of strategy. And obviously, individually, we saw a lot of players stepping up. Zine, you mentioned as well, while looking at the roster, one of the players that we really saw a great performance from up against VP especially. He looked good in Nuke. I think it was him and Glow who were just kind of tearing everyone apart. Actually, no, sorry, HSK and Glow had a great game on Nuke. I remember they were the two top fraggers for that best of 3 and for the map specifically. So I'm hoping to see the same performance out of those guys once again. Coming into this one. And obviously, as you said, kicking it off on Inferno. MVP getting the choice of side is going to be a big one.
Yeah. No, it's going to be really fun to see. HSK, as you mentioned to me, he hasn't had the greatest of tournaments so far. Again, it's a pretty tough task to be thrown in as an AWPer versus some of these teams, especially, you know, first match of your tournament, you're going up against Fallen. Not an easy way of building confidence, but you know, that's a learning experience and a half right there.
That's seeding right there.
Yeah, but you know, I think this is the benefit of having, first off, the Switch format and best of threes. The fact that they can have so many opportunities to kind of get comfortable, get into their own, and feel like they're actually a part of the tournament instead of just playing 2 games, going home, and then coming back in 6 months.
Yeah, it's better than a few best of ones for elimination, right?
Yeah.
But we're into this. Hellraisers on that CT side. MVP, lots of utility. Clearly a set piece ahead of this round. Hellraisers, they do have a triple B set up early on and maybe contesting this already. A peek down from Bondic and Woxic, but they get tagged up. Angel wants to join the party and he falls back off of mid. Zine running through the apartment, so Issa drops the smoke and pulls out the CZ for the headshot. Angel takes one and falls back as well, and Hellraisers leading this round.
Definitely are. The aggression kind of splitting apart MVP there. Not able to cope or group up. Solo finds 1 frag, but at the trade of 3, not necessarily the situation you want to find yourself in. Glow and HSK, the 2 aforementioned players you talked about, definitely have some work cut out for them. Angel spotted out under a cubby there, but Dead Fox ready to pounce on it. They do get Angel at least, so that's an additional kill, but solid setups from Hellraiser, able to deal with MVP for the pistol.
Yeah, as you would expect. Again, MVP not really much into that round, so I can expect a force here in the second. No bomb plant, and that'll be the case. Actually, a lot of utility. They put 2 players, Glock, armor on HSK, just so he can buy up the nades. I like it. I feel like if you're going to go for the armor, you may as well get a pistol with it, but hey, you know, he's got plenty of utility to actually go for a set piece here. And, you know, this is rare. Most teams just go for the Deagle or the CZ armor and then maybe a smoke or a flash alongside it if they have the cash. But no, having 2 dedicated utility players who give up the armor or give up the pistol as a result, actually, it's a lot more versatile.
If you want to go to like super throwback, one of the teams who actually did something similar like this was Katowice qualifiers, I think, I want to say 2015.
Yeah.
Heed Stars. Who you might know now as the majority of SK Gaming.
Of course.
They had, you know, something similar cooked up on Inferno where they bought up a ton of Molotovs and basically laid the entire B bomb set in flames versus Dignitas and the qualifiers and just absolutely trounced the Dignitas team. They had no idea what was going on. And it caught them completely off guard. And speaking of getting caught off guard, Zeph finds Angel and also lands the shot onto Bondik. No head armor. That's going to be punished hard. And, well, 5v2 situation here.
Toxic does come in with one at the very least, but it is Glow to trade. Even so, this round is over. Confidently can say that MVP in a 4-on-1 with the bomb down on the B site. Issa with just a UMP to contend with this, and he's already looking for that save. That is a sick couple of entries with the MP9 as well. That's not what you would expect if you're Hellraisers. Barely rounding the corner, already pre-firing that headshot position on the coffin. Very hard to hit with a rifle, let alone an MP9 at that range. And Glow will even finish off Issa, maybe biting off a little bit more than he can chew. MVP, 1-1.
Well, I'm giving you a real throwback to that Keith Stars match.
Yeah. Working out wonderfully.
Wow.
Maybe they'll win a major.
Who knows? 2 years from now.
Couple of roster changes away.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Well, definitely cool to see MVP fighting right back. And we talked about how important it is for them to get off to a good start here on Inferno. Obviously, Cash is going to be a monumentous task for them, considering it's not one of the maps they've been playing the most as of late. Also, Hellraisers, no slouches on the map.
Damage. Woxic aggressive peek into Solo's M4, and that is not going to work out. The one weapon above a pistol here for Hellraisers has already been removed. That's a scout. Picked back up by Angel. Nade from Deadfox does do good damage, but so does the rifle. He's now down to 17 HP. Zeph, actually with the Mac 10, hunting. The smoke's going to hold him back for the time being. Can't commit through this angle. MVP sitting pretty though in this third round. This should be theirs again. Hellraisers aren't really in a position to get anything done. They're just kind of gambling that they can hit their shots once MVP hit the site, because we've got a 2-2 setup, and that's very reliant on these two players to go big. Molotov's good. Will they get out of it? No. Bondik hits a shot, so a frag down means it's into a 4v4, but MVP going for a full smoke execution onto this bomb site. Good utility usage. Nice execute so far. And Glow will even get the entry as well, so the Koreans onto the bomb site, and Hellraisers attempting some form of retake with the bomb. It's been dropped. Luckily, plenty of time, but that should still be the round.
A little bit of chaos there thrown into it, but they managed to find both frags. Deadfox still doing a lot of work here. It only has 8 bullets, though. So likelihood of him being able to win out the round without having picked up a weapon, not that high. And Zayn is going to close it out for them. So maybe a couple of more losses than MVP expected and would have liked to had. But then again, we have to keep in mind that a lot of the weaponry that they brought into this round was stuff they'd picked up. So still a fair amount of cash on their end. We're going to see Zeph picking up another Mac 10. They know they're going up against a clean eco, more or less. So MVP, it's time to stabilize here. Just minimize losses. Do your due diligence. And they do have the Molotovs for it. And that's really encouraging to see, the fact that, you know, they know they're going up a potential force by, you know, a lesser buy regardless. And they're still, you know, setting up properly, clearing angles, using the utility, as you mentioned, to the best of their ability, so they can actually make everything easier on themselves. And that's all you want, really, to make sure that they have actually thought things through. They don't get flustered by the fact that Deadfox picks up a kill, for instance.
Yeah. Nice little stack from Hellraisers towards middle, but how much will it really amount to? Issa's found 1 kill in the meantime. And Angel, if he drops the bomb, that's pretty big, but luckily Zayn has an AK, well equipped for that gunfight. So MVP back in control. Dangerous to send the bomb alone in apps. If Hellraisers had a stack there, that would have been a whole new situation to worry about, especially with an AK, right? Because obviously it's a great gun for the job, but if you lose it, that gives an AK for free to Hellraisers with no teammate to trade. So just little things like this are things that MVP need to take into account. And although it works out for now, Hellraisers are already on USPs, and MVP has been given a lot of map control, already starting to wrap up through long. 2 players here. Bit of a crossfire, though. Woxic and Issa can strike together, but look at this wrap towards B. This is perfect from MVP. I'm glad they're playing these anti-ecos safe, right? Throwing in something interesting rather than just like, running up towards a bomb site and hoping they don't walk into a stack. This split is going to completely dismount Hellraisers, and this round should be, once again, the T side.
Oh, well done, and once again, could have gotten a little bit rocky there, obviously with HSK going down and Solo being dropped to 7 HP. But instead, take their time, have the... Well, do everything they have to, really. Probably could have thrown down a smoke or two to close up a couple of angles as they run through arch and so on, but it works out. But very good start for the South Koreans.
Definitely so. But this is Hellraisers' option to get into this game here. They have rifles. Buy not the best, though, I will say. They've got some utility, but really not as much as you'd hope. DevFox actually going to opt to go for the MP9. I like to see that. I like one supported player who will always get a kit in that utility.
Yep.
Just go for an SMG. Still very useful on a map like Inferno. You can put yourself up in the apps, play close B. Lots of options for DevFox here, and he will go for that latter option towards B.
You were very correct when you said some utility. No, like one flash on the entire team. That's all they have to work with. So if MVP do a good job, and obviously realize the state of Hellraiser's economy at this point, then they're going to just wait things out, try to put pressure on Hellraisers without committing anywhere, just to have them use the utility. Because at that point, MVP's execute, when it eventually arrives, it's going to be so much stronger. And with no flashes either, you know, they're never going to be in a situation where they kind of have to look away or be worried about getting caught out in that sense. So already though, Hellraisers keeping on to some of their utility. Only one smoke left though, with a minute remaining. 2 Molotovs though. There, one of them goes. That's all the nades left. 1 Molotov and 1 smoke. 44 seconds left. Dead Fox, as you mentioned, did fall on the sword in order to have all this utility. Oof. Bit of a peek into mid there, doesn't really pan out here.
They spend so long baiting out utility and then just go for a fight like that. I feel like you want to just burst a bomb site as a team. Bit of a ballsy push from Solo, but everyone else is up on B. What can Hellraisers do? It's Dead Fox with the MP9. He's found 1. Falls back towards the back of the site to grab this gun off the body of Bondic, potentially.
Time's
Not
running
gonna
really
go
low.
for it. Yeah, 13 seconds on the clock. MVP have to get this plant. Have they even realized that? No one's even going for the bomb plant. What's he going to run through? 2 kills for him, and he even upgrades to a free AWP. That's exactly what he wants that round. MVP, bit late on that execute. Bit random push from Solo as well. I'd love to know the plan behind that.
Yeah, no, that was a bit odd. Especially they had done a good enough job of actually holding back and already forcing out a lot of utility for them. Even with that Molotov down, they still have around 20 seconds once they have the possibility to go into B. And they even spot out, you know, after the, getting the guy boosted up, they know that there's still 1 player towards new boxes, but nobody's willing to commit to it or actually push up on the site. So there's no instance where they can ever actually plant safely. So that's just, these micro decisions that happens within the heat of the battle that they're not exactly landing, sticking right now. And as you said, Voxic picking up a free op. It's scary territory for them.
Yeah, it's not exactly the man you want to give a free op to, right? Bondic's already opened up on B. Hellraiser's got aggressive early in the round, so a pick to Solo who gets caught out of position, and now a man advantage for the CT side. Woxic's posted on the angle. MVP potentially going to hit this A-bomb site. Woxic already falling back. The utility comes over. He goes for the repeat, but it's Issa instead from the pit to do the damage. 1 frag comes in from him. Going to look for a little bit more. Bondic close in the smoke as well. And this is a great position because MVP look like they want to come through. And even if they don't, as that smoke fades, he's going to be lethal from there. Woxic, an uncharacteristic miss, does follow up with a second shot though. And HSK is going to be the only man to find a kill on Hellraisers. Everyone onto a Hellraisers player. Everyone else going down without a fight.
Yeah. And, well, the last 2 rounds now, Hellraisers have been able to get that initial opening frag. First time in mid and second time in banana, and both of the times that allows them to pretty much make a cheat rotation. In the previous round, we saw them get Solo in mid, immediately you see one of the players on A move over towards B, which strengthens their defense by a ton, really. Towards the tail end of that, it puts so much pressure onto MVP that they never really feel safe to go for a plant. And this time around, it's the opposite side of the map that kind of falls apart. Now, down to an eco. Goal does pick up a Colt. He's probably going to hand that off as he's down to 3 HP. Zeph tries his luck in mid. Voxic not going to miss this time.
No, he's holding down the line with his teammate dead as well. It's very important he hits his shots. Low in the apartments, he's going to fall back. Luckily so as well, because Issa was trained on the end of the hallway. MVP going to group up towards B, where only 1 man sits, but that man is Bondic after all. Dead Fox has a hot rotation available coming in through the speedway, and Bondic, he has a Molotov to delay this push. Thing is, if he's going to fall back passive here, it's going to be dangerous. We'll call for a rotate, luckily enough, so crisis averted potentially here for Hellraisers. MVP, smoke towards the CT spawn. DevFox with the utility to counter that, and he's going to push through into that smoke. Maybe? No. Molotov instead. Bondic does the damage on the site. 2 kills, shutting down HSK and Solo. Glow's going to wrap the back of the ruins, but I think Bondic's worked it out. Maybe you heard the footsteps turning back, and there's the 3rd kill of the round. So Hellraisers back in the lead. MVP start things off, but these buy rounds are going heavily for the CT side.
Yeah. Now, though, we're going to see another rifle buy coming in from MVP. They did have the opportunity to pick up an AWP and give it that to HSK. Instead, they're going to opt for full rifles and utility. Probably not a bad idea. It is really hard to play with that op on the T side of Inferno. But right now, they just need to make sure they don't get picked apart before they actually establish map control. Hellraiser has been really good at just shaking the core of MVP. Woxic just holding the wide peak for a long time. Angel once again going aggressive down into mid. Wolf found 1 frag, but again, this is a trade you can live with. Woxic also taking a little bit of damage as well as he goes for the peak mid. Soul is ready for it. Dead Fox, though, pushing all the way down into Banana. And if Hellraisers want to right now, they can do the similar thing as they've had a trend of doing, which is more or less have the top Banana player rotate over towards A, strengthen up that A defense, and Bondic will be able to give, any sort of information about sound cues or a potential rush. The information is going to be there so early that there should be a possibility to have a rotation in place.
Yeah, it's more common you put an AWP there, right? Just holding at the back and train on the angle. But Woxic's on A in the meantime. That means he's going to have to rotate into this. That's if they don't get all mowed down in the choke. DevFox and Bondic with 1, but it's a double trade. So MVP doing a great job to pull this back into a 2-on-2. How much further can they go? They've got the B-bomb site. The plant can come through, but you can already see Woxic trying to challenge this. That's a bit optimistic. Runs deep into the ruins and runs to his death. There's now Issa, apparently Korean. He's going to be stuck in a 1v2 here. MVP,
Maybe
both
that's
sitting towards the ruins. I like these positions as well because they can easily trade. There's no crossfire, no, but Issa, he's not going to expect this. Isn't very typical for a post-plant setup with this kind of bomb plant, but it is going to catch him off guard. They'll both start to wrap, or at least one will. Zeph holds the angle as Solo goes all the way around towards CT. Issa, he's finally realized that they're not up on the site, and that's going to be a big mistake. Running out of time, faking the bomb, watching Banana. He has no idea what's going on. MVP completely gaming him. Another round on the board for the T side, keeping this one in check.
Yeah, very well played by MVP right there. Trading efficiently in Banana. Obviously, Seth having no hesitation as he runs towards Ruins and catches Woxic off guard. He probably expected, Zeph to hold the smoke or something like that in case somebody would have ran through to try to deny the bomb plant. Works out nicely for MVP, and as you said, just playing that after plant so well. Not taking any chances whatsoever. Still going to be money on the side of Hellraisers to buy up, though. This is where the reserves are starting to come to an end for Hellraisers as well, but Woxic finds that opening frag, and we've seen MVP having a bit of a rough time whenever they go down a man to actually be setting up for the executes that they want. No trade available either.
Nades down, waiting for MVP to show their face on Banana, but that's not going to happen. We do have that pre-rotation, though. Bondic moving all the way over. DevFox alone, so no AWP on B, but it's okay, because MVP do seem to be hitting this A-bomb site. Woxic's there. First shot comes through. Now he's going to fall back, looking for his 3rd kill of the round, but it's Bondic to double down. Only 1 man left up for MVP, and he's been spotted as well. It's Solo. He is Solo, as Angel will take him down. Hellraisers find a flawless 5th on the board. And that's a reset onto MVP as well. Not exactly what they were looking for. The money is now in shambles. They probably will force this one. Although we've been seeing the Asians be pretty reserved with some of their buys and not forcing as much as other teams would. In a situation, a team like G2 or most teams, in fact, would definitely force this. But no, MVP have been liking these ecos. They like to have a lot of utility when it comes to their rifles.
Yeah, and I think they kind of need it. They understand that they need it as well.
Yeah, less upset potential when you're on pistols when you are the underdog, right?
Yeah. Not an easy way to kind of already playing from behind and then just putting yourself in a really tough situation. And again, if you don't have the advantage, from an individual skill point of view, then you definitely need to have it from a strategical point of view. And you're not allowing yourself to have that if you don't have the utility to work with. So definitely, I can definitely get on board with the reserved approach from the Asian teams that we've seen so far. But they really need to figure out how they're going to either work around Woxic there, because he's not going to shy away from a challenge.
No.
So either find a way to work around him or actually, use utility to make him change up his position. And Issa Gonna showcase more aggression. Seems like there's been a lot of that early on, and they're just gonna lay waste to the entirety of the MVP squad. Only Solo left, and he's not gonna remain for long. So we're seeing a lot of aggression on the A bomb side here. Obviously, it's gonna be the classic battles out in Banana between the two teams fighting for control, but we've seen every time Voxic goes for a wide peek, Angel has been peering down mid or something to that effect. This time it's Issa going aggressively in CPL, albeit it's against the eco and they're aware of that, but it still makes it tough for MVP to kind of get a good grasp for what they can expect out of Hellraisers.
For sure. We are already days, but MVP, they've still got a fair amount of rounds, although I don't want to jinx it. We said, you know, after G2 got 4 rounds, oh, you know, they'll surely get more. You know, it was a 5-10 half. That was awkward, but...
They did get more, though.
Yeah, I mean, technically I was right, but
exactly.
just, you know...
The best kind of right.
Yeah, right? We'll leave it at that. We won't add in context. But MVP, I mean, 4 rounds, you know, we're expecting more than this. Even if it was only 6, that would be fine on the half against Hellraisers, right? But...
Yep.
They do have the rifles this time. Not a lot of utility, however, so they go for this buy, and Hellraisers, I'm not sure of that just yet.
They've kind of changed things up a bit as well. Now you see Voxic being the sole defender, and this is kind of what we expected. This is what we see most teams do. If they have an opera, they post him up towards Banana all by his lonesome. This is going to be a bit of a reality check for MVP, because now you kind of realize that you're up against a mobile opera. Which allows you to, or you know, might put the fright in you that you have to use your utility a lot earlier than you'd like to just to get map control. For now, though, they seem to be wanting to go towards this A middle area, at least with 3 players. Bomb's still not committed. It might be the B split once more.
Yeah. Ooh, looks to be the case. Boost up. Bondic catches one, but Zion's already got a kill at the same time. So it is a 4-on-4, not for long. Zion's doubled down. Again, another good performance from this player. He's opened up towards the A side, and actually they may reconsider this B wrap now, but the issue is they have 20 seconds, so they'll get 2 picks on A and they'll just run back. This is a good call. They don't want to risk wrapping up to Bondic. They want to push into the B side, but Solo has to go in alone as HSK has already been dropped. Woxic is doubled down, expecting the wrap. Hellraisers give up the angles to allow for it, but MVP don't take it. Instead, they'll run to the site, and Woxic, he may try and challenge this. He's going to fail at it. Zeph takes him down. Now MVP, somehow, with 1 second, they get the bomb plant, and they're into a 2-on-2. Hellraisers coming both from the ruins. So checking this position this time, not getting gamed by MVP once more, but this time we have a more standard post plant. Zion in the pool, and Zeph up towards Banana, exactly where the bomb's planted for. He even has a nade to work with. With Bondic on half health, this is certainly doable. DevFox trying to clear the angles. They're checking everything they can. They need to check the pit, though. There's the trade from DevFox, but now it's a 1v1. Zeph
sticking it.
Falling back, and yeah, DevFox has got it. He's on the bomb, and he's diffused. Zeph takes the risk that surely he won't stick the bomb, but DevFox 1 step ahead.
Oh, that's a bitter pill to swallow for MVP. They're managing to kind of salvage the round after it starts going haywire. A little bit too late. Like, once they realize that there's a double setup in Arch, they realize that the likelihood of them making it through for an actual B split is highly unlikely. So they dip back around towards Banana to kind of join up with the already forward-moving squad. They do manage to get a bomb plant. That was very well done. But oof, you kind of would have liked to, you know, like to see them get more out of that when they managed to fight their way back. But somberly played by Hellraisers, and Angel once again aggressive down in mid. He's not getting anything for it this time around, but Voxic makes up for it.
Oh, that's a bad follow-up, though. Glow will be able to pull it back. Issue is, he is in a 1v3, so not exactly a safe round when the bomb is under the control of Hellraisers down bottom mid. But if he can get another kill, take down Issa, just limit that economy growth from Hellraisers. He needs to expect this position, but Issa wide peeking. Glow hits the shot, and that's a good shot as well, because now he has an opportunity to win this. If he can isolate these 2 1v1s, certainly a good chance, and that's clever.
Smart.
Throws the AWP out, takes the M4 instead. Will limit him in these engagements considering he's tagged, but it also limits Hellraisers' money in the long run. Reload made. Hellraisers won't hear it.
Considering the investment made here, this is a great round already. Let's see if Bondic's going to be aware of this. He might not be.
Oh my god.
Glow knows that the smoke came out. Oh,
the headshot animation in this game.
Well, that and as well, Glow was continuously moving after finding that first. If he just crouched down, that would have been a kill. Obviously, DeadFox in a great position to get the refrag in that situation, but obviously we talked about how much economic damage you can do to the Hellraiser squad, and downing 4 players, that would have been amazing.
The AWP has to be rebought, though.
Yeah.
So at least small positive there for MVP. But yeah, I was going to agree. Angel continually pushing down mid. Very confident in this matchup, which is great, but it doesn't seem to be working out. He's done it twice and got a 1-for-1. That round he just got instantly picked, didn't even get a kill. It's a bit costly. It's not really worth it. So he needs to stop doing that, I think, or at least change the way he does it. Have a supportive AWPer, use utility, get a flashbang in there to try and blind the enemies before you go aggressive. Plenty of ways to change that up.
Did have well, Vox did get a trade kill, or, well, fortunately for them. Otherwise, that could have spiraled even more out of control. And also with the aggression in Banana, did kind of stem any sort of sudden push from MVP. But you're right. I mean, MVP will take that trade any day of the week. If they can get into a 4v4 10 seconds into the round, that you'll take that.
Yeah. Especially when you're the underdog, right?
Yeah.
So a 1-for-1 trade is always nice, but either way.
And especially when Hellraisers are doing it so often, it kind of just becomes
Expected.
the thing they do. So it's not necessarily something that throws MVP off, but Angel gets caught by surprise there. 2 players pushing into mid, and where we saw Angel finding early frags for Hellraisers previously, it's gonna be the opposite story this time around. And that does mean that Hellraisers can't necessarily make any cheat rotations. They're still gonna have 2 players towards this B-bomb site, but obviously no early rotation in time.
And interesting to see that they just completely slow down. They throw all their smokes for the execute. Now they have 1 left. Hellraisers re-smoke, and MVP just stop. They don't try and do anything. They don't flash through the smoke. They don't either rotate back towards A and do something. And yeah, the time's so low now, so 20 seconds. They've got to throw their last bit of utility. Solo gets the opening kill. Now it's all on Bondic. Has to go huge here. 1 kill, not going to double down. HSK there with the trade, and MVP onto the bomb site. They do delay it, but it seems to work out. The plant can come in time. Double rotation through the banana, but Zion's already spotted 1. No reason for him to go for the fight. Glow could flash him potentially. They do have a heavy man advantage, but he's deep in the ruins.
And honestly, if I'm Hellraisers, I'm bailing the hell out of there.
Yeah,
that seems to be what they're...
Especially with the money.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? There's 2 players on Hellraisers right now who are sitting on a considerable amount of money. That's Bondic and Dead Fox. With 2 people saving, they can definitely rebuy, get a solid buy into the next round. If they were to lose these 2, especially the op on Voxic, it's going to be a completely different story. And you don't want to give an extra chance for MVP to grab more rounds here on the T side.
Especially when you can get this reset straight away if you have a good buy here. So Hellraisers want that, because if they can get a reset, hurt the money for the final round of the half, that'd be nice. But a bit of cash has been built up slightly on the MVP side. Yeah,
this should be fine to buy up for the last round, regardless of what happens here. And that wouldn't have been the case for Hellraisers if they were to lose those 2 weapons from that previous round. That's not the case, luckily for them. And now we'll see what MVP can dish out here. Would be great for them if they could get up to 7 rounds on their T side.
Let's see. Angel already in the apps. Voxic dead on B. Wallbang, I think, through the car wall. It's going to be Issa reacting by getting aggressive down towards Apartment. So he does take down Zion, but still, entries are going the way of MVP. Angel, again, taking another fight in middle when they had a 4-on-4, and he's going to go down. Maybe through the smoke. I'm not sure if that was which side of it he was on, but either way, it's giving a pick the way of the T side once again. With the man advantage, they can easily work off this. They're putting a lot of pressure on Banana right now, but Dead Fox wants to counter it. If he sprays his smoke, he gets 2 kills right there and right now. Waiting for the timing. There's the shot to 1, but a reposition from HSK to the tree. So Dead Fox, he's going to fall back happy with the 1v1. Takes the AWP off of Voxic again. This is the old AWPer for the team. So certainly versatile with that weapon. Certainly ready to pick that one up as a double AWP. Issa's at the back of the graveyard, holding strong as MVP. They're going to start to push up towards this A bomb site.
And they do still have utility here to clear the angles. Unlikely that they're going to throw a Molotov towards graveyard, and they're actually going to wrap around Arch, and that's where Bondic is waiting.
Oh, jump before the smoke blooms, though, and he'll get a bit of a shot. So now they know he's there, but at the price of losing 70 health. Issa, it's going to be jumped on by behind. Great check from Zeph. That's so important, because without that position checked, he could have easily stopped the bomb from going down. It's now going to be just Dead Fox, and he's already holding on to that AWP for Voxic.
And take a look at the money now for Hellraisers. That spells trouble. Obviously, Dead Fox wants to hold on to this, and, well, there's not necessarily any reason for MVP to stay back on site. Obviously, they want to play it as safe as possible, not make sure they run into a similar issue as we saw G2 do. But, this could be extremely detrimental, because that op is going to go into the hands of Voxic, and Voxic would be the kind of player to take the aggressive picks and see if he can find an early opening for Hellraisers in the upcoming round. You can see they are trying to look for him, but obviously Dead Fox hasn't really moved from the B-bomb site. We'll be able to take that into the next round. But still, golden opportunity for MVP to get up to 7 rounds.
Yeah, they're looking really good as well on this T side. You know, we've obviously seen a few mistakes made from Hellraisers, some over-aggression, some overconfidence maybe.
Angel?
Yeah, just naming no names.
That is kind of his calling card, though. Like,
Yeah,
aggression is the name of the game with Angel.
But it is literally the same thing every round. He's pushed mid.
But you
most
realize
of these
he's
rounds.
like for an in-game leader who frags a lot, he does rely heavily on his aim more so than his positioning. And when he's not necessarily winning out duels, this is kind of the result you get. You become, you know, in a sense, a liability to your team. But obviously, when it works, it does give you
carries games.
Yeah, an unquantified, you know, boost. So yeah, that is a bit of a love-hate relationship, I would assume, for his teammates. But you kind of have to live with it. And for now, MVP just posturing. They know that the economy is not great on the Hellraiser's side. They know they can afford to spend some time off the clock to just kind of let them use the utility that Hellraisers has. And down to 2 Molotovs and a smoke, really, to fend people off.
Oh, HSK as well. He's opened up. Bondik's dead in the banana, so MVP man advantage. Smoke can set up towards A, potentially for this arch trap again that we've seen them attempt a couple of times, but instead they just group towards B. Angel's rotated round.
There's only 1 Molotov left. That is on Dead Fox towards the B-bomb side, and if MVP take too much time here, that could come into play in a big way here. But there's no flashbangs, and that's really the saving grace for MVP here, and they still have a ton of utility on their end.
Interesting to see HSK give Solo the AWP, maybe due to Solo throwing in the utility and HS running in straight away. And that's in fact the case. Angel going to spray desperately. He lands 2 kills. I don't even know how he did that. As Hellraisers now have a double man advantage, or actually single, sorry, because of that first pick. Still good enough as they have 2 players up in the ruins and time already low. The bomb needs to go down. Woxic found a shot on the wrapping arch player. That's going to be Zine. And already more from Woxic. He gets a second one after wrapping in through the CT spawn. Make it 3. Woxic on the hat trick. And that'll be the round there for Hellraisers. They'll be able to pick up the defuse and 9 on the half. Very nice stuff.
That was looking so promising for MVP as well. Angel gets very fortunate to pick up 2 kills there. 1 through the smoke, 1 kind of just running into his crosshair as he's emptying out his clip. And then obviously the saved op on Woxic, obviously that's going to come into play. 3 big kills from him. I'm not really sure how he expected the wraparound. I saw Issa kind of just moving down towards second mid on the radar and then back into Arch, so he might have spotted or heard the rotating or the backstabber from MVP, and that obviously plays a big part because if MVP can buy enough time at least, then he could more or less turn everything around for MVP.
The thing is, you know, not only have MVP tried to wrap Arch before and succeeding in doing so, but also, you know, if there's a smoke down on B, you've got 3 teammates outside of the site. You know, you've got an AWP, you can just sit there and watch a smoke and probably do nothing, or you can just watch the back for the off chance that MVP do send in a flank, right? You know, he's going to add nothing while the smoke is down on B. So you may as well have 1 player watching the back just in case, right? While you wait for that smoke to fade so you can go for the retake. But either way, we're into the pistol round. It is utility on Dead Fox and a bit of the same on HSK and Solo as well. MVP investing in a Molotov in a pistol round. I'll be interested to see where this goes. It's actually on B, so Solo playing literally solo on this site. And the Molotov is perfect, because if Hellraisers try and execute, chances are they won't run through that molly. You'd think.
Never know. But yeah, that is probably the likely outcome. And MVP not really interested in actually fighting for banana control. I'm pretty sure this is the similar or same pistol round we saw versus SK as well, if I'm not mistaken. Solo spots out 1, probably going to drop the Molotov right now. Still holding on.
Very reserved. It's good though, because Hellraisers aren't committed, you know. Save it for when they actually do go for that rush. You can see Solo's position. He's not going to go down with the sight. Even if he throws off this molly, he's probably going to fall back and maybe fight from CT, but maybe just play for the 5-on-5 retake. Look how passive he is on the B site. And it's a good call to make considering the setup from Hellraisers, but it's a real risk because MVP have no information as to where Hellraisers really are. Look at Angel as well. He started to wrap the CT spawn and Solo's just going to decapitate him there. And now it is going to be an A play. With 4 CT players holding a crossfire, this is going to be perfect for MVP. It is. HSK with 2 kills. Woxic finally finds a trade, but will he expect all this manpower here? Him and Bondik both grabbing a frag, but it's not enough. They're running out of time and they're running out of players. Bondik's dead too. And now Woxic in a 1-on-3. This has not gone well for Hellraisers. A very nice setup from MVP.
All right. Oh, they actually back up with 2 players rotating off towards B, but luckily Voxic makes a ton of noise inside. Used that spot before. Voxic knows. Ooh, Solo, no, don't start fiddling around with that Molotov.
Oh no. Is Voxic going to do this? There's only 7 seconds left. He has to commit to the plant. Looking for the 4K HSK. Has the kit, has the smoke. The time is not an issue, but the headshot will land. Sigh of relief there from MVP.
Definitely so. They make that a lot more exciting than it should have had to been. A bit of a stress call, I would imagine, the second they lose eyes on Voxic. It's not a bad assumption to think that Voxic might have taken the chance of going towards B, but it's a bit of an over-rotation putting 2 players at that. Having just one guy falling back towards B, you're going to have time to see him to see Voxic potentially make the crossover onto the site. You're perfectly fine playing a 1v3 retake. You still have a Molotov on Solo. So you'd rather do that than just committing half your team, or well, 66% of your team to the complete unknown. But still, they managed to eke it out nonetheless. But look at the buy coming in from Hellraisers. Galil here in the hands of Voxic. A ton of utility. And CZs to boot. This might catch MVP off guard. They have a lot of MP9s. Well, 2. No real rifles here. I'm not big enough of a fan of the FAMAS to call it a proper rifle. Hate that weapon with a passion. Solo actually gets dinked down to 7 HP as well. That's some banana, though. And the rest of the Hellraisers teamers are predominantly focused on that A area. But the jig has kind of been given up because that was Voxic dinking Solo, so they would know that Hellraisers had